Humanity's manhole is a narrative principle that states any element in a story that ends up propelled into space at high speeds becomes a major plot device used later in the story. An example would be a pre-FTL species launching its first unmanned rocket into space and unknowingly destroying an FTL species nearby spaceport. Its name derives from and became popularized by the humans, still being used to this day in theatrical plays, literature, shows, movies, and games. On the day of the 14th or the 30th, 4862, Universal Calendar, Inktur, the Benevolent One, totalitarianistic dictator of the, at the time, white golden Hom Empire, was holding a speech from his palace balcony down onto the assembled crowd, which consisted of the white golden Hordem nobility, black blue Hordem peasantry, and several at the time vassal slave races to the empire. At one point in the speech, Inktur started talking about Hondramate, at the time most widespread religion of the Hordem, comparing the white golden Hordem Empire to the mythological On-Hokram. In Hordem mythos, the Hordem perfect home that would come after a touch by Ar. Hordem would learn how to push the known world into the age of Un, aka Diamond. Convinced he is said Hordem touched by Ar, Inktur shouted upwards, "If I was doing what's considered wrong to Ar, they'd smite me here and now with force magnitudes higher than we know. But as it's seen..." Before Inktur or anyone else could react, an unidentified object entered the Hordem homeworld's atmosphere before crashing at insanely high speeds into the balcony of the palace, killing Inktur and several other high officials in the palace, while also destroying over 90% of it and the surrounding area. Upon the spread of the news, hundreds of revolutions broke out among the Hordem Empire, which ultimately resulted in its dissolution, turning the once vast empire into dozens of independent kingdoms and empires. After long discussions, wars and pacts being made, the Intergalactic Commonwealth was formed, creating a unified galactic community. In the year 5535, the human species discovered FTL, and soon after, first contact was achieved. Humans joined the Intergalactic Commonwealth enthusiastically, finding their place everywhere in known space, from clerks to fleet admirals. 60 universal years later, in 5585, a human historian and their Hordem student were discussing the years where humans started their nuclear tests, when a fun fact the historian had shown spiked the Hordem student's curiosity, which after long research explained what happened at Inktur's speech. As it turned out, in 1957, during one of the human nuclear tests nicknamed Operation Plumbob, a nuclear device was detonated underground in a borehole. Upon its detonation, it was found out the device was much more powerful than thought, and the welded manhole on top of the borehole shot upwards at a speed of 66 kilometers a second, or 240,000 kilometers an hour, exiting the stratosphere at drastic speed. While originally thought to have been vaporized, the direction the manhole would travel and its distance were calculated, which yielded the results of the manhole traveling thousands of light years away over the span of 500 plus universal years, before entering the atmosphere of the Hordem homeworld and crashing into Inktur and his palace. Upon its discovery, the human species was thanked for starting the downfall of the Hordem Empire, to which the, at the time, leader of humanity said, quote, "We did what?" Fun fact, if it's to be believed, the first man-made object in space is a manhole cover, propelled by a nuclear blast. Launched August 1957, the manhole will be 2 months in space before Sputnik 1 was launched.